whatever their, metric was to call off the season.
Yeah, I think we do, because I saw a story, and I should have saved it, from out west, which actually the Pac-12 did release some of, not the actual numbers per se, but they said that, in like 10 of the states, or whatever amount of, high percentage of states in the Pac-12, there were spikes. I mean, in Los Angeles, where USC and UCLA is, cities are basically shut down. So they provided more information and data than the Big Ten.
Yes.
So I get that. Here, to answer your question, I don't know if I'll do it correctly, from the Big Ten Network's press conference, Kevin Warren on why release the schedule and then postpone.
We always have a plan. And so we wanted to plan for a possible season, made it very clear that the season may not actually come to fruition. We felt it was important to plan, to organize a schedule that if we were fortunate to play fall sports, and especially football, then we would have a schedule in place.
It was a big tease.
It was, and again, I listened to the whole press conference. I was actually on ESPNU doing a show while this broke, so we went away, we listened to the press conference, we came back and we commented on it. Kevin Warren never says, he always defers to, from under the advice of our, the medical team that we've put together, we are postponing this. Well, what's that advice? What's the number? And that's part of the disconnect across the Power 5 conferences is nobody's medical team is talking to each other, and so there is no uniformity in how we're handling this. We still think that there's a chance that SEC, ACC, and Big 12 could play football.
Oh yeah, because they want to. But that's the question. Why at certain conferences, if their data is all shared and similar, why have they interpreted the data differently? Is it because, pompously, arrogantly, or whatever, the Big Ten believes, they're the greatest public universities in the world, and the Pac-12 has some as well with UCLA and of course Cal, Berkeley, among others, where they love football, but it's not priority number one. No matter what they say in the SEC, for most of those schools, except for maybe Vanderbilt, football is their number one priority. So the administrators, the presidents, they have a different set of priority lists, and maybe that has something to do with it.
Well, it may have something to do with it. It also has to do with, you look at the Pac-12 and the medical team that they put together. I had Evan Moore on. He was on the show that I was doing yesterday when this all broke. He's a former Stanford Cardinal, played in the NFL for about 5 years, but he was talking about the fact that, the Pac-12 had 14 independent doctors. In the Big Ten, all of the medical professional that were advising, in the SEC, all of the medical professionals are part of these programs. And so their perspective may be different in where they're coming from and how they process the information, and their goals are going to be different. And that's part of the disconnect across college football.
Right. If, not playing the blame game, but what this does is just show what a joke the NCAA is. Because they have no leadership. It's almost like, and I'm not saying this part is bad, but like when the president says that's, the governors will take care of it, no matter what it is, okay? And if any president would do that, it's the state's responsibility. I'm not just talking about Mr. Trump. This is what the NCAA does. You know what? We'll let each conference.
Right.
But it's something like this, you need a uniform body. You need leadership, and the NCAA has been devoid of leadership for so freaking long. It's ridiculous. And I understand football's a little different. They don't even, the NCAA technically doesn't even control, the BCS, the championship,
Well, and it highlighted so many things, whether it's the void in leadership or the disparity in the Power 5, Group of 5, FCS, FBS. There's just such a wide range of the haves and have-nots. We saw that early on in regards to just the simple fact that the Power 5 could test at a level that nobody else could test at.
Right.
And even at the end, and we're starting to hear some that maybe that was part of the issue is just being able to get tests enough to last the season.
tests come out positive in their training. They haven't hit yet. They haven't done a lot of the things that spit, sweat, all that. So we don't know if it's going to be passed that way or not. We don't know either way. And I think the fear of the unknown is what is driving this. All right, coming up on the program, we'll talk a lot about that. Chris Hutchinson, the father of Aiden Hutchinson, former Michigan All-American, who has been on our show, as you know, a lot during the COVID. Tell us what's up at the hospital, because he's a ER doctor. He's a little different spin on it. As a father of an athlete, he's probably not very happy today. He'll join us at 8:35. Ron Gardenhire of the Tigers. Hey, you lost last night, John. It's harder to get to 39.
In the road.
Also, Wojo at 9:35, and we will get into one of the greatest things in sports that we saw last night. Heather with news next.
You guys, I have so many great news stories to tell you coming up. I'm going to tell you first what's trending, and then I'm going to tell you why a Florida man was arrested for doing the most Florida man thing ever.
Oh, yes, indeed. Thank you. I want to tell you about Capital Mortgage Funding. They do the greatest things that Michigan companies do. They take care of people. Amazing, amazing customer service. We know the mortgage industry has changed, and for decades, Harry Jules Lands. Yeah, that's his name. His real name, Harry Jules Lands. And Dan Burke, they do a wonderful job of taking care of you. Great customer service. 1-800-LOW-RATE is the telephone number. They still work for a living. They write loans. They're not spokespeople for products on TV, and then you see them being a spokesperson for another company, 10 years later. No, they're the real deal. They're solid. If you have a refi, what are you waiting for? Rates are still really, really low. Call them today. 1-800-LOW-RATE. Capital Mortgage Funding, the best mortgage bank.
Capital Mortgage Funding is powered by Fairway Independent Mortgage Corporation, NMLS ID number 2289, Equal Housing Lender.
97.1 The Ticket. Traffic.
From the WWJ AM 950 Traffic Center, this report brought to you by Henry Ford College. A couple of ramp closures coming up this morning, including 94 eastbound the exit ramp to Wayne Road closing from 8 a.m. to 4 p.m. Then from 9 to 2, 94 eastbound exit ramp to Gratiot Avenue in Roseville scheduled to close as well. Looking for career-focused education in 2 years or less? At Henry Ford College, their 1-year and 2-year programs keep you ready for big things. They also offer 4-year options like culinary school and dozens of transfer programs. Get ready for your future at Henry Ford College. Visit hfcc.edu. I'm Michelle Penny with traffic.
Over the years, you've heard hundreds of Applied Imaging customers on the radio talking about Applied Imaging's great service and extraordinary people. But sometimes it's all about the bottom line. Remember Fred Steiner from Henry Ford College?
Well, a few months ago, I actually ran some reports to compare what we were paying our old provider for fewer pieces of equipment versus what we're paying over the past year with Applied. And the college has saved over $110,000 a year in making the switch in the contracts.
Applied Imaging customer Ryan Ogle of Blue House Property.
Save me money and then probably the time and less headaches because they're able to troubleshoot things pretty effectively and efficiently if we have an issue.
Mike Drostowski of Mad Creative Concepts.
I think it's a great partnership, and the cost per copy is cheaper than I can do it anywhere else, so it's all profit.
With Applied Imaging, you don't pay more for great service. Call Applied Imaging today, 800-521-0983, or visit appliedimaging.com. Applied Imaging, fast, friendly, amazing.
Summer is here, and the Southeast Michigan are still offering online sales support and complimentary home delivery. Plus, we are continuing our enhanced cleaning procedures, so you have peace of mind while you shop. Right now, current Easy Plan lessees can lease a 2020 Ford F-150 Super Crew XLT 4x4 for $149 a month for 24 months, with $3,129 due at signing. Only at your Southeast Michigan Ford dealers. Payment includes waived security deposit, excludes title, taxes, and license fees. Payment also includes RCL bonus cash, select inventory RCL cash, open bonus cash, renewal cash, and AXCD bonus cash. Not all lessees will qualify for Ford Credit Red Carbon Low Mileage Lease. Vehicle must have arrived at dealer at least 61 days prior to the sale date. Take new retail delivery from dealer stock by August 31st. See dealer for qualifications and complete details. Some exclusions may apply. Visit us today at BigFordFirst.com. So lease our 2020 F-150 Super Crew XLT for $149 a month. Think Ford first.
I like
something a little softer than that?
Rest easy. With the Sleep Number 360 smart bed, you can both adjust your comfort with your Sleep Number setting.
Can it really help me fall asleep faster?
Yes, by gently warming your feet.
Okay, but can it help keep us asleep?
It senses your movements and automatically adjusts to keep you effortlessly comfortable. Sleep Number, proven quality sleep is life-changing sleep. It's the final days to save up to $500 in select Sleep Number 360 smart beds, plus special financing on all smart beds. Ends Wednesday. To learn more, go to sleepnumber.com. Special financing subject to credit approval. Minimum monthly payments required. See store for details.
Wendy's famous 4 for $4 is heating up with a new spicy crispy chicken sandwich. The queen of spice is delivering that spicy chicken you love with lettuce and mayo between 2 deliciously soft buns. And yes, in classic 4 for $4 fashion, you can get all that spicy goodness with spicy or crispy nuggets, fries, and a drink to cool off, all for just $4. Is it getting hot in here? Or did Wendy's just deliver the hottest deal in fast food? We got it.
Offer includes Corby's Nuggets Junior Frying Value Drink. Price and participation may vary.
What's hot for business this week at Staples?
Small prices, big savings.
Help your business go big with everything you need at amazing prices.
From office essentials like paper and ink to health essentials like masks and hand sanitizer.
This week at Staples, get 40% back in rewards when you spend $75 on ink or $175 on toner.
Shop in-store or pick up curbside.
Save big this week at Staples.
Ends 8/15. Exclusions apply. Curbside available in most stores. Visit store or staples.com/40 in rewards for details.
From muscle pain, body aches, to strains, Blue Emu Maximum Arthritis. It works fast and you won't stink. Its unique formula with emu oil penetrates deep to relieve arthritis pain, sore muscles, joints, and more. 97.1 The Ticket and Ellison Brewery have teamed up to make 2 exciting new beers. Introducing 97.1 The Ticket American Lager and 97.1 The Ticket Double Dry Hopped Hazy Pale Ale. Look for them on draft at a bar or restaurant near you.
Your opinion matters. Call the D Las Vegas 97.1 The Ticket studio line at 248-539-9797. Book your stay at the D by visiting thed.com. The D Las Vegas, the home for Detroit sports in Vegas.
The names you trust. The teams you love.
All right, it is news time with Heather.
Good morning, you guys.
Good
First,
morning.
before I get to news, I've got a question for John. Did you go out and see any meteor showers last night?
No, you know what? I wanted to, and I'm hoping that tonight, it's because it said the 11th and the 12th.
It did.
So with all of the breaking news, I was literally recording or on air until about 1 o'clock this morning. So I didn't get a chance to get out, and I thought about it when I laid down. I'm like, I should go outside. It's 1 o'clock, and then, but I think I live too close to the city for it to be, and at that point I was like, you know what, hey.
Oh, bummer. I was hoping you would have some great stories like,
Whoa.
I saw all these stars.
1 o'clock in the morning. You're still up.
I know, it's crazy.
Yeah. It's I sent you my rundown at about 12:30.
Oh, I didn't even.
Yep.
I didn't
Oh, you didn't even look at my rundown.
No, I
Thanks.
looked at the rundown.
I go through all that work.
No, I looked at the rundown. I didn't look at the time. I just assumed it was after I went to bed.
Oh, yeah. When I woke up, I saw your rundown. It said sent 5 hours ago, and I was like, oh my gosh. This guy does not sleep. He never sleeps.
Hey, the news doesn't rest, so neither can we.
That's true.
I'm hoping that's a great transition to this.
My news. Here you go, guys. So the old Michigan State Fairgrounds is finally being redeveloped after more than a decade of failed attempts. And there's plans to build an Amazon distribution center there. So under this new proposal, Amazon would invest $400 million to build a 3.8 million square foot distribution center at the site. And they say it would bring at least 1,200 new jobs to the city, which would be awesome. And the distribution center is expected to open in 2022. They say employees will make a minimum of $15 an hour plus benefits, which could be pretty cool. And it's not going to take up the whole site. There's a lot of ground still there. It's going to be a 4-story building on about half of the Michigan Fairgrounds site.
Anything to get big, bring stuff to our economy, I'm pretty much in favor of it. I know they don't treat their employees allegedly that great. That's something that they work out, but
that's true.
It brings a lot of revenue into this area. That's wonderful.
That's disappointing. That's great, but disappointing because that site means something to everybody in the city of Detroit or around. And to me, that was where Softball City was. And we used to go, my dad and my older brother and I used to go down there and, every summer Even when I was in college, I would come back and play softball with my dad and my brother, and it kind of broke my heart when they first shut it down. And now that it's been sitting empty, I just hope that they actually do something with it, and whatever it is, make sure it's a benefit for the city.
Yeah.
Yes, definitely, for sure. You guys, a 31-year-old Davison man was arrested by Chesterfield police after leading officers on a nearly 18-mile police chase. This happened on Tuesday morning, and I guess it all started when Chesterfield Township Police came across this guy driving an Impala without a license plate. So of course, what are they going to do? They're going to try to pull this guy over. That's what they did, but this guy wouldn't stop, wouldn't pull over, and ended up taking this officer on a chase all over the place. He was driving erratically, wasn't stopping at traffic lights, was kind of driving up over cement curbs. He actually blew out one of the tires, but continued this chase anyway. And eventually the guy finally got out of the vehicle and started running on foot. And the police finally caught up to him and captured him. He was arrested along with a Lapeer woman who was in the front seat of the Impala as well.
Never give up. Never give up. Just fight to the end. Just don't ever give up.
Thanks, Mr. Valvano.
Just pull over. So much easier. All right, you guys, I'm sure you've heard by now, but Governor Whitmer was a top contender, but Joe Biden passed her over and picked Kamala Harris as his running mate. So in a tweet, Biden called her, quote, a fearless fighter for the little guy and one of the country's finest public servants. She has served as the district attorney at both San Francisco and the state of California before being elected into the Senate in 2016. And she, of course, ran against Biden for the 2020 Democratic nomination before dropping out. And her mother is Indian, her father is Jamaican, both of which, along with the fact that she's also a woman, will be firsts if she does become the vice president.
It's interesting because during the debate, she was all over Biden. She was ripping him to shreds.
Of course.
And then, but it just, I'm sure, it kind of reminded me of, 4 years ago when the Republicans had theirs. I mean, Trump was calling them Lion Ted and Little Marco.
Starting route to 2450 Middlefield Road. Head south on Telegraph Road.
Was I right the first time?
Stay in the middle 4 lanes.
Yeah. Anyway, but now, of course, Cruz, backs Trump. It just shows you that the primaries and all that stuff.
Keep right to merge onto M10 south toward I-6
but you know what? If you need them, that's cool.
Yep.
Politics. It just makes your head hurt.
I know.
Without a doubt. Without a doubt. So the parent of an 8-year-old boy who was actually arrested in Key West several years ago is now suing the school and the city, claiming that the boy has been traumatized for life from the experience. We didn't talk about this yesterday, but video of this arrest was viral. Did you guys see this? So it happened in 2018. This little boy was in school. Apparently, the teacher had asked him to sit on this bench. He didn't want to sit there. He ended up punching the teacher across the chest, I guess, okay? This little boy also suffered from, he had oppositional defiance disorder, ADHD, and something else. So he did have some issues going on, and the school told the police, and kind of to, scare this little boy straight, the police actually arrested him. They put him in cuffs, even though his little wrists wouldn't even fit. They put him in a car. They took him straight up. This little 8-year-old boy. And now, I'm guessing after this video has went viral, this mom has decided to sue. And she says that the boy we're in on this, but like, you gotta call the child's parents. Make sure that they know what's going on. Don't just take this little kid to jail as an example of, I don't know, pretty wild. Either way. Another video that is going viral just might be the wildest and also the dumbest thing I've seen in quite a while. So there's a family. They were at a picnic in the woods. Did you see this?
Yes.
Sitting at a picnic table when all of a sudden this black bear shows up, and they thought it'd be a great idea if they fed the black bear peanut butter and jelly sandwiches, and that's exactly what they did. But surprisingly, and thank goodness, this bear was so well behaved. Just kind of patiently waited as they smeared peanut butter on the sandwich, and they hand-fed the bear, and the bear didn't attack them or eat them, which is the good news. But at the same time, they thought this was hilarious. The person filming it found it very humorous, and it could have went disastrous. So
Can you imagine
until they get their face ripped off?
exactly.
Yeah. Can you imagine the bear sat there and said, wait a second, this is chunky, I want smooth. And that's pissed.
Yeah, what else you got in the good basket?
Pretty crazy. I do have my final story I have to get to. Only in Florida does a man get busted for a DUI while riding a lawnmower on the highway. That's exactly what happened. This drunk Florida man, he has 3 previous DUIs, was arrested. He was driving a riding lawnmower in the middle of the freeway. Obviously, he was pulled over going much slower than the 55-mile-per-hour speed limit. And here's how the arrest went down.
What's going on?
Use the right lane
No,
to
you're in the
keep right
road,
to
right?
merge onto M10 south toward I-696 east.
You were. How much you have to drink tonight? A couple. I think it's a little more than a couple.
Right.
Yeah. No, I didn't say that. I said we're going to do some field sobriety exercise. Okay, that's fine.
Well, can we just give you a ticket and be done with that?
So I'm going to ask you one more time if you want to do these exercises.
No, sir.
You
Just
don't?
take me to jail.
All right, Paul. Go ahead and turn around. Put your hands behind your back.
I don't even want to do the exercises. Just take me to jail.
In 3.7 miles, take exit 14C
He needed the
onto
tool man
M39 and South
to soup up his riding lawnmower. I mean, we've all seen that episode, haven't we?
Yes.
Put the big old engine in the front. Just make sure you got it on right. You don't go in reverse.
Today, go to jail, get 3 square meals a day, you'll be fine.
Yeah.
All right, thank you, Heather. Coming up next, we want to hear from you. 248-539-9797. Spartan fans, Wolverine fans, hell, football fans. Are you upset, sad, or say, you know what? It's the right thing to do. 97.1.
You could win a JJ's Prime Steaks and Cheesecakes prize pack that includes JJ's Amazing Choice Pack and JJ's Gourmet Chicken Pack. That's over $400 in meat. Text JJ's Steaks to 20357 to win now with 97.1 on the ticket.
Amazon is hiring near you. Earn a competitive wage and start as soon as 7 days. No resume or experience required. Health and safety are a top priority with all of our roles and sites. Amazon is taking precautions in our buildings to keep people healthy. Go to Amazon.com/apply. That's Amazon.com/apply. Amazon is an equal opportunity employer.
I'm an emergency medical technician. I've been to the scene of a lot of vehicle crashes, and in nearly half of them, alcohol is involved. I've seen so many lives lost. Some of them were drunk drivers. Some were just people going about their day. Families on vacation, kids on their way home. A couple out to dinner. I do everything I can to keep them alive, but sometimes nothing helps. I can tell I'm losing them. All because someone left a bar or party and said, I'm okay to drive. Ask an EMT like me. We can tell you it's not okay.
If you saw what first responders see every day, you'd never drink and drive. Police are cracking down on impaired drivers now, so drive sober or get pulled over. A message from the Michigan Office of Highway Safety Planning.
As you get back to business, small things can make a big difference. Like marking safe distances with floor tape and posting reminders to wash hands. As always, Grainger is here to help, offering supplies and solutions for every industry. Free access to product specialists, 24/7 support, safety recovery guides, and more. It's part of our commitment to help you adapt and recover in these challenging times. Call, click Grainger.com, or just stop by. Grainger, we're the ones who get it done.
Indeed knows you've got big goals for your business, and we understand hiring is a crucial part of that. You need to hire people who make a real impact. Indeed can help you find those important hires faster while paying only for what you need without any long-term contracts, thanks to our super flexible payment options. Start finding your important hire today with a free $75 credit for your first job post and get in front of more quality candidates. Go to Indeed.com/high-impact. That's Indeed.com/high-impact. Terms and conditions apply.
It may not be stomach issues. For me, it's intense gas, or pain, or diarrhea, sometimes all at once, over and over.
I spent years with the symptoms, but could never figure it out. No matter what I did, they never went away. So I decided to break it down for my doctor and get really specific about my symptoms.
We discovered that exocrine pancreatic insufficiency, or EPI, may be the reason for my stomach issues.
EPI is caused by my pancreas. It leads to diarrhea, gas, bloating, stomach pain, unexplained weight loss, and oily stools. The symptoms just don't go away.
But EPI can show up with even one symptom.
The good news? EPI is manageable. But to get to the right diagnosis, you have to break it down for your doctor and get specific about the severity of your symptoms. Visit identifyepi.com to learn more and use the symptom checker to help change the conversation with your doctor. Brought to you by AbbVie.
This hour of instant feedback brought to you by Mike Picaro of National Benefit Plans. For affordable life insurance, log on to nbthealth.com.
The 97.1 ticket with you is the radio.com app. Download it today and listen to us anytime, anywhere.
Jimenez swings and lets the fly ball to right, fairly deep to Merritt, back to the fence. This is trouble, and it's gone, a home run. Eloy Jimenez with a 3-run shot. Wow, 6 batters in. The White Sox take a 4-0 lead.
And the Tigers really never recovered. They lose 8-4. Alexander did not pitch very well. Austin Romine did hit a home run for the Tigers. They play this afternoon against the White Sox. Pregame, with Dan and Jim. Ron Gardenhire will join us coming up at 8:02. Also, last night in the world of sports, a couple of things from the NBA first. Damian Lillard had 61 points in Portland's win last night over Dallas. He had 51 on Sunday. So he's been unbelievable trying to get the Trailblazers in the playoffs. And I don't know if you saw this, John. Giannis got a little skirmish with Mo Wagner and headbutted him and got ejected. So I don't know if that's going to affect, when the playoffs start next week. But, Wagner never gets under anyone's skin, does he? So,
Yes, he has that ability.
Yes. National Hockey League, the playoffs actually started. None of the qualifying round. It's the real playoffs, the best of 7. And it got off to an unbelievable start. The Tampa Bay Lightning beating Columbus 3-2 in overtime. But not just one overtime. We're talking 5 overtimes. 5 overtimes. The game was unbelievable. Korpisalo, the goalie for Columbus, 85 saves. Vasilevsky, the goalie for Tampa, had 61 saves, 151 total shots. It was incredible. I think, put it this way, because of the bubble, they do double headers. They do triple headers. So Boston was supposed to play. The game started around 3 o'clock, 3:30, I believe. And they were supposed to play. Boston was supposed to play Carolina at 8. Finally, at 9 o'clock, they said, you know what, guys, go. They were hanging out in the Raptors locker room at the Scotiabank Arena. We'll play tomorrow morning. They're playing today at 11 o'clock in the morning. So 5 overtimes, and it ended on this goal by Tampa Bay Lightning's Braden Point.
Here's a shot by Kucherov that's blocked. Kucherov again scouts that hit Gavrikov. They score! It's fired by Braden Point. The shot hit Gavrikov, came back to Point, and he fires it in for the game-winning goal in overtime.
you're listening to the game on the radio, NHL radio on Sirius, or even if you're watching, you think that you're watching, a normal game with fans. It's nuts. It's great. Also last night, Calgary beat the Stars 3-2 and Vegas beat Chicago 4. All right. Just, also the big story would be very upset about 248-539-9797. That's the Big Ten and the Pac-12 cancellation. They say postponement to the spring. Whatever, it's canceled. They're not even going to. I don't see how that could work. If they could pull it off, wonderful, but I don't think people really want to do it. But anyway, it's done. And what is really bothersome to me is the fact that they pulled the plug now. And I just think they needed to wait and see how everybody was going to react once students who decided to go to campus and be in classrooms with these athletes, if they were able to do that, would react. Now, I know a lot of the athletes will probably, like many of the students, a lot of these schools are going to take them all online anyway. But there are things like, dormitory living, apartment living, fraternity, if the fraternities haven't been shut down, living, just the actual mingling that goes on a college campus. And to me, if the testing results were still pretty good, or really good after like a week or so of that, then I said, all right, you know what? We can try to do this. But they didn't want to do it. And that's what's troubling to me. I understand why they're doing it. And a lot of people say, well, it's all about politics. It's all about liability. It's all about that. I do believe, maybe it's naivete here, they're worried about the safety of their school because there's a great unknown here, John. And as much as we're pissed off about it, and we have because there's no proof right now how this virus works in a football contact scenario. And I don't even talk about games, because in practice, as you know, sometimes the practices are harder, more hard-hitting than the games. Yeah. And there's blood, there's sweat, there's tears, there's crying, there's sweating all over the place.
There's no crying in football. There's no crying in football.
I see guys crying after the cruise. Anyway, you know what I'm talking about. We don't know, and I think it is a fear factor, but I think it's one that's somewhat understandable, but I wish they would at least give it a couple of weeks.
And so I guess that's my problem is what numbers are they using, what data are they using? Because if we get to the point where we're making decisions based solely on fear, then what other decisions will need to be made simply because we're afraid of what might happen? You look at the numbers, and there's no good relation or correlation to what does it mean for 15 to 24-year-olds? What does driving mean for that same group? That is a much bigger killer than COVID will probably ever be.
The comparisons between driving and the flu,
but what I'm getting at is the fear. The fear. Like when your kids left the house for the first time, how afraid were you as a parent that they were leaving and they were going to drive away on their own?
I wasn't that afraid. Okay. I'm not afraid of my driver.
I love it that you can make me laugh in the middle of all of this seriousness.
I'm a goofball.
But that's my point is there are a lot of things that we can be afraid of, yet we still make a conscious decision to do some of those things in our life. And this is one that, yes, there's a lot of unknown, and there's a lot of fear, and that fear is legitimate. I'm not trying to say it's not, but we can't continue to make decisions based on fear.
I understand that. That's why I think they should have waited a few more weeks, and I think that's what probably the SEC and the Big 12 are going to go. But yeah, and then if you're the president of a company, a business, and you say, you know what, okay, let's open up our building. Everybody's coming back to normal. You know what? And then somebody gets sick and dies. I mean, who's responsible?
But that's different though, because you're talking about different age groups. You're talking about different, but you're also, those individuals have an opportunity choice has been removed simply, and I'm not saying simply because of fear, but that's what we're kind of led to believe because they haven't told us anything. And I think I mentioned this yesterday here, maybe on Tuesday. I guess that was yesterday. This week seems like it's been a long week. But when you don't answer a question as an athlete and you say no comment, then whoever is asking you that question, they've got an idea of a story that they want to write. If you say no comment, then they're left to write that narrative. Right now, we're somewhat left to write a narrative for the Big Ten or for the Pac-12, more for the Big Ten, because we have been told zero details on why they have made this decision.
Well, you're right. You bring a good point. I thought like somebody like Barry Alvarez, who's a big football guy, the AD of Wisconsin. I was watching all this stuff yesterday.
Yeah.
I thought even Gene Smith.
Yeah. I thought Gene Smith did a great job.
Yeah, but I thought Gene Smith basically said he understands why they're doing this. I thought Gene Smith was going to get on and criticize them, but he didn't. The only people that really criticize is Nebraska. It shouldn't even be the Big Ten.
It might not be for very long.
Yeah, exactly. All right, our telephone number 248-539-9797. Is there anybody that should be blamed here? Do you play the blame game here? And are you sad? Is your Saturdays just going to be completely different now? 97.
97.1 The Ticket. Traffic.
From the WWJ AM 950 Traffic Center, this report brought to you by Mastercraft Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. It's a problem-free drive along I-75 through Auburn Hills, Troy, and into downtown, but keep in mind there is new road work along 696 westbound from after Woodward to Coolidge, right lane closure scheduled through mid-September. For same-day service of your air conditioning or plumbing, call Mastercraft Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing. 37 years in business. A+ Better Business Bureau rating. Mastercraft Heating, Cooling, and Plumbing, 800-924-2123. Mastercraftheating.com. I'm Michelle Pena with traffic.
Text the ticket now. Ticket text 248-539-9797.
If you're looking for a career that is equally rewarding as it is challenging, Fiat Chrysler Automobiles is a great place to work. FCA is looking to expand its skilled trades ranks and fill positions immediately. Current positions needed include industrial controls with experience in industrial troubleshooting with Ethernet IP communications, programmable logic controllers, and robotics programming. Candidates must have at least 4 years of combined experience and education and be able to provide documentation showing that they have the required experience and training. If you possess strong computer skills, experience with microcontroller programming, machine vision applications, commissioning, troubleshooting, or computerized maintenance management systems, join the team at FCA by going to careers.fcagroup.com. That's careers.fcagroup.com. This message is brought to you by SEMCA and Michigan Works on behalf of FCA, an equal opportunity employer. This Radio.com Sports Minute is brought to you by Hall Financial. Go to davidhallmortgage.com.
This is Zach Gelb, the Radio.com Sports Minute. The NBA did everything possible to get Zion Williamson in the playoffs. The Pelicans, though, didn't take advantage of that opportunity by limiting Zion's minutes in Orlando. With this season basically over for New Orleans, there were positive things you could take from it. First off, Zion only played in 19 games before the shutdown, but in those games he showed why he was the #1 pick. You also had the emergence of Brandon Ingram, who should win the Most Improved Player of the Year award. Now it's time to put the 2019-2020 season in the rearview mirror and start thinking about next year. When David Griffin does that, his first move will be firing coach Alvin Gentry. You can make an argument that Gentry should get another year, but we all know people in charge like to pick their own guys, and Gentry wasn't hired by Griffin. The Pelicans' bubble problems weren't because of Gentry, but expect him to be the man who gets blamed for it and be the one sent packing. I'm Zach Gelb.
Football is back, and so is HBO's Hard Knocks. This season, for the first time ever, Hard Knocks will follow two teams, the Chargers and the Rams, as they make their way through training camp and prepare for the most unprecedented season in football history. Catch Hard Knocks Los Angeles, Tuesdays at 10 p.m. on HBO, and stream it on HBO Max. Be sure to listen to the official Hard Knocks podcast hosted by Peter Schrager every week. Available wherever you get your podcasts. Napa know-how. At Napa Auto Parts stores and Napa Auto Care Centers, get a $25 prepaid Visa card when you get any Napa Automotive battery. It's the best deal for some of the best batteries from some of the best car people around. But we might be a little partial. Anyway, pick up any Napa Automotive battery and save $25. Do it yourself or have it done for you. That's Napa know-how. Napa know-how. At participating Napa Auto Parts stores and Napa Auto Care Centers while supplies last. Offer ends 8/31/20.
DTE wants you to use less energy and save more. Water heating alone consumes about 90% of the energy it takes to operate a clothes washer. So increase efficiency by washing in cold water and cleaning the filter on your dryer after each load. To get more tips, qualify for rebates, recycle appliances, or shop for discounts on energy-efficient products, go to dteenergy.com/save energy and see how easy it is to save. DTE.
Right now at LaFontaine Buick GMC of Ann Arbor, lease a 2020 Buick Encore GX demo for as low as $179 a month. The all-new Encore GX, fully equipped with advanced technologies such as Amazon Alexa integration and built-in 4G LTE Wi-Fi hotspot. Hurry into LaFontaine Buick GMC of Ann Arbor or shop LaFontaine Buick GMC AnnArbor.com today. Lease 24 months at 10,000 miles per year, $2,500 plus tax, title and plate due at signing. Need GM employee pricing at Buick GMC lease and household. No security deposit. Ends 8/31/20.
Musty smell in your home? It could be coming from below your floors. And the smell in your crawl space is more than just embarrassing. It could be a sign of a larger issue, like mold, mildew, and wood rot. The experts at Foundation Systems of Michigan have the solution. Their exclusive vapor lock system locks out harmful moisture, protecting your home's structural integrity and creating an all-around more comfortable environment so you can get back to the important things.
Guernsey Farms Dairy, celebrating 80 years, serving families in our communities. Newly renovated Scoop Shop and Restaurant, now open for carryout. Come taste their award-winning premium ice cream, famous buttermilk chicken, or the official lemonade of Mackinac Island. Taste the Guernsey difference.
When big things happen in Detroit sports, you hear it first on Detroit's #1 sports station, 97.1 The Ticket. Breaking news powered by Radio.com Sports and brought to you by Pennzoil. Motor oils from natural gas. The proof is in the Pennzoil. The Detroit Tigers host the Chicago White Sox. Pre-game today at 12:45 on 97.1 The Ticket.
We do have a task force in the Big Ten for emerging infectious diseases, and we also have a sports medicine task force that's comprised of many doctors and trainers, people who I have the utmost medical respect for. And I just said from day one that it was important. I'm not a physician, but it was going to be very important that on a day-to-day basis that we would listen and follow and understand and appreciate and embrace the advice from our medical expert.
That's Kevin Warren from the Big Ten Network. He's the commissioner of the Big Ten. Don't forget here, at least locally, the presidents of the universities here, Michigan and Michigan State, Dr. Stanley at Michigan State was a world-renowned epidemiologist, and Mark Schlissel at the University of Michigan, a specialist in infectious diseases. So it's not just like these willy-nilly people are making these decisions. Now, somebody points out on the ticket text, 248-539-9797, you guys are fools. Universities are afraid of being sued if kids get COVID and die, or bring it home and get grandma sick and she dies. It's all about liability. Why can't you see that? In this world today, every family of a kid who gets it will sue. You know what? I understand that, and I kind of agreed with that. But I read something yesterday from some lawyer group that says the liability, when you think is so cut and dry, it's not. They don't have as much liability as you would think. It would be very tough to sue and win against a school and something like this, especially because the athletes are adults in the most, and so it's their choice to play it.
Yeah, and trying to prove that that's where they got it would be an impossibility. And you're looking at lawsuits no matter what decision was.
Right.
Because there are going to be, I think it's going to happen fast. There are going to be a lot of student athletes that hire lawyers, or lawyers seek them out because of loss of future income.
Oh yeah, that's a great point too. Because look,
Stay in the middle lane.
Nothing changes from yesterday. Guys like Quiddy Pay, you're never going to see him play in Michigan again.
No, but Kwity Paye is going to have an opportunity to play in the NFL.
Right.
I'm talking about the guys that were fringe players that needed this season to get on the radar, that needed an opportunity to be seen by GMs, by coaches, and there are a number of things that in every state it's different in regards to how they categorize it and what they're due, but it doesn't. Whether you think that those will win or not is not the point. I mean, have you ever heard of a lawyer bringing a case just simply for publicity and not because they thought they were going to win?
Of course, that happens all the time. Also, take a text, and we'll take your phone calls too, 248-539-9797. The first Michigan game was scheduled to start in 3 weeks. When did you want them to pull the plug, on September 4th?
But that's not that is not the point.
Yeah, but because the schedule was built in where they could start it on September 26th if they had to.
Yeah, or they could push it back to October.
Yes.
There were a lot of different variables of where they could delay the start of the season, and not even they could call off practice now and not even start practice until the beginning of September.
Finally, someone on this radio station has a different opinion. Way to go against the grain, John. Nearly every single host on the station has the same tired, safe opinion on the pandemic. Okay? So we give everybody a chance to speak and text. So sure, we can't make decisions based on fear, but it's okay to make the decision for kids to play football when the possibility is there for one of them to have long-term effects or actually die. I guess I just don't understand how that's considered being scared, not cautious.
So, again, I mean,
that's semantics. It's like my mother always said, better safe than sorry. And that's I think that's what they're doing, really. They're just taking that basic, sentence, and for whatever reasons you want to believe, liability, whatever, that's what it is. They're afraid that something bad is going to happen. And whether you think you can shut down a whole sport, just look, we're talking about.
If we continue to make decisions based on better safe than sorry, that to me is a slippery slope, and that is disappointing.
Yeah,
to say the least.
I think part of the problem is it's still so unknown, and that comes into the fear factor. But we've had this thing for since March, or actually earlier than that, but we still don't have a grasp on it yet. Hopefully there'll be a vaccine, but even if they do get that vaccine done, whether it's the one in Russia or the ones we're working on here in other countries, it's still going to take a long time for people to actually, use it and to be, proven effective.
And here is something I think that we need, and we have talked, and the conversation around mental health has advanced light years in the past couple of years, and it needs to continue because the second leading cause of the age group that we're talking about is suicide. And there is going to be a lot of pressure, there's going to be a lot of stress, there's so much unknown. I think that now that we have made these decisions and kids are home from school, this is not just an athlete decision. This is not just something that we have to talk about, but it's something that we need to be aware of and look for is those that are in that 14, 15, all the way up to 24, if they're going to have that feeling of hopelessness because they're not in school, they don't have the same structure, even if schools can do the best that they can to provide structure for online learning, it's going to be different than actually going to school. The structure, we heard this from Scott Frost, and I there's nobody that doesn't want to refer to Scott Frost more than me, but the structure that football provides, that athletics provides, is you can't underestimate that. And I'm hoping that we can keep an eye on this situation, that we can be alert to what is probably going to become another issue that is going to be linked to COVID, and that is the depression of these kids and the fact that their lives have been completely tossed up in the air.
Well, that's true. It's just a shame that it's taken this to really focus on depression, because it's certainly there's depression and anxiety for young people in this country is unbelievable pre-COVID. And yes, it probably will get worse, and structure is important. I found it interesting, and Michigan still had practice yesterday after the decision, but I think that's kind of good. I think that was more like a therapeutic group hug, maybe.
Yeah. And again, I go back to the structure. My safe place was always with my team. And the safest place was when I stepped across the line and I got to play football, because I had a chance to put everything that was going on. If I had a test, if I had, something going on with my girlfriend in high school, whatever it was, my safe place was on the field. And this is a high-stress situation for the student athletes. And if they can go out there, they may not be practicing for football in September. Maybe it's in February. Maybe it's not until next year. But to be out there with your family, and like you said, it's a gigantic group hug. Whatever you got to do right now, do it.
All right, our telephone number, 248-539-9797. That is the telephone number and the number for texting as well. Coming up next, can you actually have high school football in a state where there's no college football? 97.1.
WXYT FM and WXYT HD1 Detroit. A radio.com sports station. Sports headlines all day, every day. From the Sold by YC Sports Desk, this is 97.1. The Ticket.
This update is powered by Flame Heating and Cooling. Tough night for the Tigers as they lose to the Chicago White Sox 8-4. Rough outing for starter Tyler Alexander. He takes the loss after being rocked for 5 runs in just 3 2/3 innings.
He just didn't have his location today. That's a very aggressive, good hitting team, and you have to make pitches, and he just didn't have it. It just didn't come out of his hand the right way. His breaking ball wasn't as sharp.
That's manager Ron Gardenhire. The two teams are set to close out that 3-game series this afternoon at Comerica Park. We'll have the game right here on the Ticket starting at 12:45. Big Ten officials announced yesterday they've postponed all of their fall sports this year, including college football, and are now examining the possibility of moving those sports to the spring. The reaction to the decision from the players and coaches, uniformly negative, with Michigan's Jim Harbaugh admitting in a statement he was disappointed with the Big Ten's decision. Moments after that was announced, Pac-12 officials confirm in a statement that they've decided to follow suit and have also postponed fall sports, including college football. Turning to the NFL, training camp continues today for the Lions, as the players once again will take part in workouts at the team's complex in Allen Park. The Los Angeles Chargers' Anthony Lynn becomes the 3rd NFL head coach to contract the coronavirus, a fact that he admitted to during HBO's Hard Knocks show last night. Lynn said he tested positive for the virus back in June, but has since recovered. In the Stanley Cup playoffs last night, Vegas defeats Chicago 4-1. The Calgary Flames scorch Dallas 3-2. Tampa Bay needs 5 overtimes to beat Columbus 3-2. From the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Tony Ortiz. For more, stay tuned to 97.1 The Ticket and radio.com.
Jamie and Stoney on 97.1 The Ticket.
Good morning, good morning. 7:02. Very nice day, high in the 80s. So I guess you didn't get to play your tennis with your daughter that you wanted to play, John?
I took an hour break. I did get a chance to play with her. That was my sanity for a little bit, and it was just nice to be outside. Yesterday was a beautiful day.
Yeah, I played about it with my daughter for she played with one of her friends, and then she came home. And I was not in the greatest mood yesterday, obviously after the funeral and whatever. She goes, "Dad, I want to play more. You want to play?" I said, I said, "All right, fine. I'll go play. Can we play for you?" I said, "Just hit."
Yeah. Turn right onto Westfield Road.
I'm so pissed at myself for giving up the game for basically 3 to 5 years. I'm so bad and slow now, but hey, I love it.
Hey, just like I might pick you up tonight to go, maybe we'll go play a couple of matches, and then we'll watch the meteor shower. I think that sounds like a great evening. We could crack a couple of beers and just enjoy some stargazing.
If there was a weekend, I'd be right there. But when I can't function if I go to sleep at 1 o'clock in the morning like you do.
You would. It's only one night.
I know.
The weekend is close. You'll be able to sleep in on Saturday.
Okay, sure. All right, we have some ticket text before we get to the ramifications of what happened yesterday. The reason there is no Big Ten football is not because of COVID. Schools are afraid of the players forming a union because if that happens, there goes all the money that the schools control now. That's from Wayne. I've heard that discussion, but you would think the other conferences would feel the same way then, right?
Yeah, and I've heard that discussion as well, but there is there's so much money that will be lost. I find it very hard to believe that this was made simply because they don't want the players to unionize.
No, I agree, because, and even if they do unionize, I don't think the college. I don't. That's a whole argument for another day. I don't think the colleges would go. First of all, would agree to it. Number one.
Yeah.
And then so if they don't play, they don't play. Then that's their loss too. Hello, John, Stoney, and Heather. The decision based on fear isn't based on fear. It's based on liability. Fact is, there's too many unknowns surrounding the virus's long-term effects on people of all ages. It just isn't smart to purposely send amateur athletes into harm's way with or without their willingness or desire to play, without being able to reasonably guarantee their safety and or health. Hoping it works out isn't a strategy. It's stupidity. It sucks, but it's the right decision. I have more respect for the Big Ten and other conferences who decided to shut it down this season. Now, you know one thing I disagree with you on, unnamed texter? As you said, it just isn't smart to purposely send amateur athletes into harm's way with or without their willingness or desire to play.
Turn right onto
Who's going to go out there,
then turn left onto Middlefield Road.
without who doesn't want to play? Nobody. Right. I mean, they have the ability to opt out. So I don't buy that part at all. But yeah, I mean, I get the other part. Somebody else says, I blame all the idiots that refuse to wear a mask and don't take this seriously. I think there are people who believe that. I don't blame them for what's happening here.
No.
I wish it was done a little better. I wish that this country...
In 600 feet, the destination is on your right. 2450 Middlefield Road.